Hi everyone, and today we are starting reading Mahoyo, and I'm really excited to read Mahoyo. I I have been hyped about the game for for pretty much a year or even more, and I heard that it's really amazing visuals and in general pretty amazing game. So let's not waste any more time and jump straight to the reading. Like, also I kind of like that this time we don't even have a fancy title screen to look at. Feels refreshing to just jump straight to the story. It was a winter's day 8 years ago. That sudden morning when she understood the value of life for the very first time. Her home was nestled on the side of a mountain. I like the music. It sounds so classical, like. On it was nothing but a hospitable wilderness. She had no neighbors or childhood friends to speak of. Things like traveling to school or playing outside were more trouble than they ought to be. I wonder about whom they're talking about. Indeed, with pure water and bright stars, it was a place rich with memories both frustrating and halcyon. That was only during summer, though. Winters in those mountains were extremely frigid. The piano goes crazy on the background, like. Jeez. Each morning more severe than the last. Your father would drive her to the train station. After waiting 10 minutes for the engine to warm up and the ice-covered windows to clear.
キーを回してきてくれるかい?
Mind starting up the car for me? Your father would savor his morning coffee, leaving her to venture outside and leave the engine. Yo, this looks like the house drawn by the kid. Like. And it makes it such a big contrast together with the music. Like, out the front door, she would go traversing the garden with icy breath until she reached the tall sedan. As always, she inserted the key, then started the ignition. The engine rumbled to life. Just as she proudly finished that humble task she had done so many times before. What is that? What the heck is that was? A shrill scream appears there. Is it some nasty cat, like, or what? She knew, even though it wasn't a human, that the feeble sound was a cry of agony. Is it some your spirit or ghost, like, or whatever the hell it is? A few moments passed. Your father came out and opened the hood of the car. Picking fun bells. Also, I'm reading Mahoyo completely blind. Like. And I know that there is the anime that gonna release during the autumn, but I think it would be more fun to go for the original game like this without spoiling the things for myself by watching the anime. Kicking fun bells. A monstrous looking engine. Why are they showing the cats? What's my guess? the spot on about the cats or what. And something that didn't belong. There was a cat, a mother by the looks of it, and her two kittens. The three cats had been hiding for warmth in the engine compartment. The mother cat was missing. Hello? What happened to the mother cat? Like, was missing its head. One of the kittens had been mangled beyond recognition by the ancient bells. Ah, so they got mangled by the ancient, by the car. I mean, like, damn, that sounds pretty terrible. To even look at, let alone to go for this. If you are a cat. One of the kittens had been mangled beyond recognition by the ancient bells and surely died instantly. The other kitten, its face half covered in the blood, panted faintly. It desperately clung to its mother, as the chunk of meat that had been its mother is the last bit of life it could muster. Man, that sounds... this opening scene sounds way more weird than the one they had in OG Tsukihime. That's like the only visual novel from Type Moon I have read before. And I haven't even read the whole thing. I just read the couple of routes. So we might read Ojitsuki Hime in the future. You heard me. It desperately clung to its mother, or as the chunk of meat that had been its mother is the last bit of a life it could master. Poor things. Her father lamented their plight. The previous night had been especially cold. After he had returned home yesterday, the cat must have snuck under the hood drawn by the warmth of the engine. The hat slept next to the engine and awoke into a storm of spinning bells. Cats in the 80s were not sealed particularly well, so this was not unheard of. It's okay. It wasn't your fault, and it's missing a name. Does our heroine have amnesia or what? Her father's voice seemed distant. Or maybe it's so shocking for her that she's completely out of it in this moment. She could only make out a small tuft of the kitten's grey fur. The rest of it was caked in the blood of its mother and brother. I can see its scalp. Jitsuki Hime really was... really had a pretty normal start. It was just... she kept going to the school and... speaking with his friends, wow, this is some gooey stuff we have here. I can see its skull. The fragile life of a speckled kitten, terribly possibly blind, it continued to nuzzle against its dead mother's chest. Wait! She took the kitten into her arms and is she gonna bury it? And deep into the mountains to her grandfather's house. Or is her grandfather a magician? Was it because she was overcome with regret? Was it the shock of her grief? Years later, she still wasn't sure. Fighting back, deviling the tears, she bursts to her grandfather's workshop. Her grandfather was I knew it! Was a magician who could do anything. But probably not bring the things to the life. Back to the life. She had never seen magic. She knew that magic was a fantasy straight out of fairy tales. But so was her grandfather. She had to find him. He was the only one who could help.
その子猫の運命を変えろという
I suppose you want me to alter this kitten's fate. That's quite the voice. They gave dueling magicians indifferently. This kitten needs our help, she pleaded. Either it was a simple task, or Herculean labor her grandfather would not say. He simply granted the girl's childish wish like a machine. I thought he's just gonna refuse her and say, that's not what a magician do. He didn't have the means or the time to bring back some kittens to the life. And she woke up. Oh no, the girl said. Before she knew it, however, she was holding a tiny corpse into her hands. Its fur was cold. The warmth of life had left its body, and the tears she had fought so hard to hold back poured from her eyes. Regret spread through her chest like an endless gray sky.
トロだったな。結
You are
局
too late,
元に戻すとは。
Some things cannot be undone. I see, so... The magic in Mahoyo is still the same kind of magic I know from some other stuff from Type Moon. And we are not talking about the Grand Order here. You're not talking about this one. But from what I know, it's not too powerful. Like at least if you're if you're ordinary magician, like. Your mind struggled to come to gripes with what had just occurred. The last 10 minutes were a total blank. Who she met, what she had known, it was all as if it never happened. The only thing she was sure of was that life, once extinguished, can never return.
そこに誰かいるの？
Is somebody there? That day? It was her mistake that gave birth to me. Indeed. Whatever occurred that day, it was a day of nostalgia and longing. This is the fairy tale of 8 years ago, but who you are? Who's telling us this story? Like the day they first met, that no magic can ever bring back. Wow. I didn't expect such a transition there. Arrogant, greedy, enable only to destroy. I must be a wolf. The visuals are going hard. They're going hard right from the start. Like it's. I don't have regrets. There is no looking back. If my pet has left you behind, my sincere condolences. But at any rate, I suppose it's my fate to die at the hands of a little Red Riding Hood. So, this is the name of the first chapter, I assume, like it's a strange one. I thought we are gonna have a really long prologue before we're gonna make it to the first chapter, but I kinda like it that just jump in to the chapter 1 almost from get to go. It was a quiet morning. From her bat, she could see the sky was a nation watercolor gray. The thermometer displayed 23 degrees Fahrenheit. As unforgiving the temperature for November, it's damn, that's pretty low, like. From what I know, like. The stomach woke her up with a growl, prophetically reminding her that she had completely missed breakfast. But lazy mornings like today's were for her a blessing. It was already well past 8 in the morning. I must believe in that. That's the sign is lying on the background for me, like actually in my place, because the last week it was in all the time for me. So I'm kinda stuck in the moment here, but today is it's hot as hell, like. And even the sound kind of makes it a bit more refreshing for me. Even if it's just my brain taking me. It was already well past 8 in the morning. On any ordinary weekday, attendance would be unavoidable, but today, classes were cancelled in commemoration of the school's anniversary. Gratefully, she had every intention of taking it easy for the first time in ages. So she is not only prideful, but she is she's doing it according to the rules. I mean, maybe not exactly to the rules, but she is keeping she's trying to portray herself in the public as a reliable and very capable person. Yeah. That's what I mean. Which makes sense from what we know about her so far. Outside the window was gloomy gray and reminded her more of evening that morning. It wasn't a pleasant morning by any stretch of the imagination. But having been up all night until just 3 hours ago, she couldn't care less about the weather outside. All she cared about was more sleep. As long as she could spend her morning in the bath, what was happening outside was of no concern to her. She shut the curtains. Also, what I'm wondering about is, are we gonna switch back and forth between the protagonists, or it's gonna be from her point of view for the most part? Then close her eyes and tried to let sleep reclaim her.
せめてあと2時間ぐらいは凡庸な夢を見ていられますように。
I would like a nice, uneventful dream for 2 hours. Thank you. Blissful slumber found her soon enough. Her consciousness faded. However, the simple request would mercilessly refused. The freaking bastard. The alarm. A faint but shrill sound lingered in her ears. Imagine if it was this thing she on the background, and this thing was actual reason why we had a shrill scream inside the memory. Like, there was the unmistakable ring of a telephone. So it's a telephone, not an alarm. Much to her chugging, her eyes popped open out of habit.
こんな日に限って。
Oh, come on. Why today of all days? The telephone was situated in the foyer on the first floor. Okay, so there at least 2 floors to her house, which makes you pretty rich in my books. Like damn. Is she gonna be like Tosaka? She living in a mansion. Like what? Well, it's a bit more down to earth here. Answering it meant walking down a 30-foot corridor and going down a flight of stairs. Oh, never mind. It's gotta be a mansion. At least a huge fancy house. She got there. In her sleep-deprived state, the distance seemed somewhere between incredibly far and astronomically far. The phone's incessant ringing continued. She knew the caller would eventually give up if she ignored it, but she chose to fight the urge.
アリス出ないの？
Why doesn't Alice answer it? I kinda wanna call her Alice, like, cause to my ear it sounds better than this, Alice. But I guess we will just roll with it. She thought her housemate would get it. A housemate? I thought it's like her house, but maybe it's a dorm? But she soon had to abandon all hope. The realization struck that her housemate didn't have the day off from the school and was likely in a class. Alright, it's gotta be a dorm. At her prestigious little hilltop academy. And not only that, but her housemate is apparently going to a different school. The caller proved incredibly persistent. The persistence made the volume of the ringing seem even louder.
もうせっかくの安眠を。
I'm trying to sleep here. She was left with no choice but to get up, pull it up on and leave the room.
寒。
God, it's cold. She wrapped her hands together to warm her numb fingers. The mansion's heating system was inadequate, to say the least. I knew it! It's a mansion, but it seems like it serves as a dormitory. Like, if she has some housemates with you that not her family. Which meant that Winter was the way worst of an uninvited guest. Nevermore saw Dana on a day when as this, and one didn't need to use a thermometer to know how cold it was. The mansion sat in the mountains and was surrounded by dense forest. Winter always arrived here first, before moving on to nearby towns. I just thought about this and dang, it's gonna suck a big time to live on the mountain. For this very reason, it's like you're the first one to get all the nasty cold, and I don't like cold. So I would hate live in the mountains. Even if it's a fancy mansion. With a bad heating now. The robotic link of a telephone reverberated throughout the long hallway. The mansion's furnishing was perfectly maintained that made the place feel unlived. It seemed lonelier than it did splendid. Coupled with the day morning, it could have passed for a haunted house.
ま、幽霊屋敷そのものだけど。だいたい2人で住むには広すぎるのよ、この家は。
Well, it's a haunted house, I suppose. It's too large for just the two of us. The two of you, like, like what the heck? It's just two people. That's just not a housemate. I thought it's gotta be a dormitory, but like, what on earth? Yes. A huge mansion just for two people like them. That's a magician for you, like. Yes, our housemate has some ties to the magic as well, like are they magician or servant or perhaps some quote apprentice of her, like if she's even willing to take any apprentice. From what I remember from Fate, it's not really a thing for to have the apprentices for actually established families. Like it's hold up a second. Yeah, never mind. Like. I remember that Tosaka's family also had Kirai with them in Fate Zero, so I think I'm in the wrong here. Like. It and it could be the thing like that the housemate that we have with us is her apprentice. She counted more than 30 years since it first began. But that could be neither of this, and just some close friend. Which also could be funny. The girl either had a lot of free time on their hands, or had a good understanding of the house's circumstances. She had a certain hunch that it was the latter. You know, both looked out into gloomy sky. She hastened to catch landing in the act as soon as possible. Though she had a feeling that her happy morning might come too close the moment she caught it. It was here that a series of incidents began. Apologies for the lack of romance to this tale. Who needs servants when we have a freaking haunted house right in front of us, like seriously. Whether it were objectively true or merely a supposition, it's always from a gloomy and unassuming beginnings that extraordinary events are set into motion. Is it an opinion? What do you like? And from looking at this, I can tell that it's gonna be a pure aesthetical orgasm to go through the game. Like, it looks amazing. Like, I'm not gonna don't play it. It's absolutely amazing. You haven't even begun. Like, it's not even the meat of the game, and but I'm impressed already. The arena had subsided somewhat by time she reached the skull gate. The thing I'm impressed with the most is how we have The constant switching visuals for everything, like. It doesn't even feel like we have static backgrounds for the most part, because it's because they always throw something besides that, like from what I have seen so far. The rain had subsided somewhat by the time she reached the school gate. Sunlight seemed to be playing a peekaboo behind the clouds in the distance. It looked like it might be cleared up by the early afternoon.
と言っても私には
Not
関
that
係
it
の
has
ない
anything to
話
do
だ
with
け
me
ど
though. Are you gonna be a tsundere? The weather reflected her luck. On top of being forced out of the house at it's such an early hour, she had to suffer from winter rain. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. The second feeling she had only grew as she passed through the entrance and had a tense sight. She didn't encounter any other students along the way. That's what I'm talking about. We don't really have a static background. Nor did she see anyone taking part in the club activities either. The reception desk to the faculty room simply read faculty closed. The school had given all of its students the day off, except those explicitly summoned, like summoned by whom, like by the principal, or is it someone else? A fact that irked her more and more as the minutes passed. She opened the door to the faculty room and headed over the desk she had visited a number of times before. The man at the desk wore a plain shirt and a suit that were nonetheless neatly pressed. Some framed glosses adorned his face, giving off an amicable yet cunning air. The mild-mannered image, this mid-20s man presented a clashed with the cigarette he smoked. He didn't appear to have noticed her yet.
Yamashiro sensei.
Mr. Yamashiro. She closed the door with a bang. Showing a response to the sudden sound, Mr. Yamashiro lifted his hat.
やあ、おはよう、青崎くん。
Oh,
要件は聞いているかな？
you didn't get into to see the man. But I guess with Mahoyo I shouldn't be surprised about this, but I'm still surprised. Like, I expected him to be just an air. Hey there, good morning, Ozaki-san. I guess this means you got the call.
はい。1時間前に自宅で事前に何の相談もなく。
They called me at home about an hour ago, out of the blue. I like how even her voice makes it clear that she has a big ego. It's not even like how Tosaka talks. It really gives off this hot vibe. Having graduated from this high school himself, Imashiro Sensei was much older than the rest of the students. For that reason, the students preferred him over the other teachers. He always had something interesting to talk about and kept conversations casual. In fact, seemed more like an older student than a teacher, but she unfortunately didn't share her fellow students' fondness for him. She was of the opinion that the teachers should come across as more austere. Like an iron, his attack could inspire both love and hate in equal measure. Not a body to joke and pal around with. But why it could be both? He was the exact opposite of how she felt a teacher should be. It was only natural that her manner towards him be forced and unfriendly, but from her standpoint it makes sense, like this how uptight she seems to be. The guy is just too lucky for her to properly respect as a teacher. Not that she had even been wired to make a friendly small talk.
はあ、今日もご機嫌斜めみたいだね、君は。
それは先生の気のせいで
Must
す。
be imagining it.
今日だけ特別
I'm
と
like
いう
this every
話で
day.
はありませんから。
The matter of fact, answer perfectly matched the displeasure displayed on her face. Her bad mood from having to get up early and the tiredness from staying up late must have collectively made her look positively adversarial.
そうならいいんだけどね。彼にはそう辛く当たらないでくれよ。
If you say so.
僕らじゃ正直
Just go easy
どう
now,
扱っていいか
guess,
わ
okay?
からないところもあるし。
Are we gonna have a transfer student? To be honest, we are not completely sure how to deal with him yet.
先生、
About that,
その件ですけど、
they wanna tell me what
私
the hell is going
まだ
on.
詳しい話を聞かされていないのですが。
Because I have no clue. As Imashira Sensei, on her piercing eyes, we finally understood that the reason behind her tone and slowly put out his cigarette.
電話じゃあなんて聞いたの？
Let's start at the beginning. What did they tell you over the phone?
転入生の紹介をする
Does that
とだけです
be introduced to
理
the
由も
transfer
脈絡もない
student?
説明でした。
They were a little hazy on the ass though. One of Yamashita Sensei eyebrows stood up, impressed with the brevity of her answer. You could see that she was angry, not because she had been called to school on her day off, but because she hadn't been told why she was here. Yamashita Sensei chuckled sympathetically.
先生、これが笑い話なら
If this
そろそろ
was
帰っていいでしょうか。
all a joke to you, perhaps I should just go home. It's gonna... Hey, the guy got before she even met him.
いや、ごめん謝るよ。冗談じゃなくて真面目な話なんだ。
Wait.
ちょっと
I didn't mean to
君の
laugh.
手を借りたくて
This
ね
is。not a practical joke. You could really use your help.
本当に転入
So
生
that
の
I
問
really
題で
stands for student?
訳ありというか難しいというか。
Yes, but he has, how should I put it, difficult circumstances.
彼宗十郎くんと言うんだけど、ちょっといろいろとずれていてね。
His name is,
僕らが案内してあげるより同世代の君の方が適任だと思ったんだ。
He's a bit, well, peculiar. So if what someone around the same age would be best, suited to show him the ropes. To hear him an amused look. It was negligent of them to be pushing teaching duties on her, but she did wonder how exactly this dance with student was peculiar. Maybe he meant the student had behavioral problems or was difficult somehow? But peculiar? She didn't have the slightest idea what that meant. Maybe the guy is just detached from everything.
ずれてるなんて
You know, here,
So
teacher
what's
calls
going on
someone that every day. She had few doubts, but swept them aside for now. This wasn't the time to get distracted by more concern. The fact remained that this conversation was all the peculiar she had she could handle, and she needed more information. Yeah, let's fight her for more information. Like, what's up with the stance we're doing? Like, I don't feel like the guy is all just set up for about first impression from him. Like, all the things of ice screaming that it's not gonna go well. She was already beginning to fantasize about saying no and curling up in her warm bath at home.
一つ質問があります。
I have a question.
何？あ、
Yes.
学年は君と同じ2年生だよ。
The second year
性
student
格は
like
落ち着きがあって人の話をよく聞くタイプ。裏を返せば
He's
覇気がないとも
well-behaved
取れるけ
and
ど
good listener.
それならそれで付き合いやすいだろ。
He's not the most energetic individual, but that just means he'll be easier to get along with, right? Also, hey there, whoever watches me right now, and feel free to hit me up in the chat.
青崎くんとはクラスは違うけどきっと仲良く
He's
な。
not in the same homeroom class as you, but I'm sure you will get along just what?
そういったことは本人から直
I
接
did
聞
the
きま
judge
すし、
of
測り
that
ます。
and actually meet him.
そうではなく、なぜ私なんでしょうか。
And none of that answered my question. Why me? Though her tone was still stern, it was clear that she was willing to cooperate. She had decided to put her feelings of dissatisfaction aside and focus on the task at hand. Forcing herself to act empathetic in spite of her self-absorbed nature was something she was used to. Paradoxically, this force of will was also the reason teachers put so much faith in her. I see, so they are... they're exploiting the hell out of her. Or at least it looks like it. To a point. It's always stayed to the point with you. As you could tell. At times that Sainfa shattered expectations and on those acquisitions that were left with no choice but to treat it like a natural disaster and weather it until it passed. That was how Imashiro Sensei had come to deal with her over the past year.
もう一度だけ聞きます、山城先生。
I will ask you one more time, Imashiro Sensei.
それで、なぜ私なんでしょうか。
Why does it have to be me? Questioned by a question without hear yes or no answer, he answered. If it was me, I would say like that you're quite a peculiar one yourself, so you might get along with him just fine. Or something akin to that.
うん、それはね。
Well, about that. But She wouldn't like this answer. She really wouldn't like it.
別に青崎くんが先生方に
I
敬
probably
遠
think
され
it's
ているの
because,
と同
yeah,
じぐらい
that's
信頼
just
されていて
lure
学校のためなら
of the student
教師も生徒も一緒くたに切って捨てる
I believe
鉄の生徒会長
teaching the
だから
students
じゃ
for
な
the
い
good
よ
of the school, but you're the one. Yeah, so she is in the student council.
それ以外にこんな呼びつけを受ける理
I
由は
can't
ないと
imagine
思
any
いま
other
すけど
reason you would call me. Rice did nothing to hide her disbelief as she glared at him. Saying far beyond that of an ordinary 17-year-old girl, coupled with the youthful beauty for one. Mashiro sensei let slip a genuine smile, admiring the miraculous balance of qualities. Something is telling me that the transfer duties would prepare himself for paying a lot of the hospital bills.
いや責務だけでいいなら僕がやってるさ
I
こ
mean,
の人選に関し
I'll
ちゃ
handle this myself,
教師や生徒会長といった役職も関係ないよ
unless he is extremely sturdy. That we will see. If it was just about a pure obligation, but who guess the job has nothing to do with the teacher or the student the student council.
なんていうかこんな頼みを損得抜きで聞いてくれるのは君だけだと思ってね
I just felt that you were
適
the
任
only
ですか
one
らと強く
who
推薦したわ
entertained
け
this kind of request without needing to wait all the sides. That's why I insisted that to be your... Right, so... he gave it to her because... she's just... that... his son and... wouldn't... terminate the idea over and over again before... accepting his request. I see. So let me adjust the volume for the voices. I think it's a bit loud. Like. That's the music. Right, that's more like it. In other words, he knew she wouldn't say no.
山城先生
Yamashiro sensei.
うわ怖っもう睨まない睨まない
Oh
だった
dear.
ろ僕にはともかく彼には笑顔でって
But I think it's Yamashiro sensei, yeah. That's the name. Would you stop glaring at me like that already? At least put on a smile for your junior schoolmate.
とまあ納得してくれたならすぐに移動しようもう随分待たせてしまっているからね
If you're agreeing to help, you should go see him. We have already kept him waiting long enough as it is. Does the guy have umbrella on him at least? But why I'm picturing him standing outside? Just soaking the rain. But that could be the case if that's what teacher was hinting at with the peculiar one about him.
それと雨の中ご苦
Because
労
you're
様
braved, the rain to
帰りは
get
もちろん
here.
車
I'd
で
be
送
happy
る
to
よ
give you a ride home. Masha Sensei stood up gracefully. I'm good, thanks. Damn, she's even refusing the ride. She replied before turning and walking out of the faculty room. He had been waiting for about an hour. Is he just standing there like what? Well, he did, then shower lightened into the drizzle. His mind wandered as he listened to the sound of the raindrops. Oh, it's from It's from his point of view now. The room was filled with neatly arranged rectangular tables. He was the only one there. Quite some time has passed since he had been brought to this room and asked to wait. And it's now it really feels different from how the things were described before. Even the best behaved student might have grown dissatisfied or anxious with the situation by now, but the boy stuck to his spot like a scarecrow. Like, I could already tell that the guy is probably not as headstrong as she is. He could be headstrong in some other way, but at least he's not as prideful as she is, so probably doesn't give them about some social status. I mean, keeping up the appearance in front of the others. It was a chill to their bone. It was the end of November, and low temperature in the morning had marked the start of a winter. There was not much warmer. The heater had been turned on. They had missed the teacher telling him to turn it on, or he had never seen one in his life. He breathed lightly on his freezing fingers as he aimlessly surveyed his surroundings. This day place was apparently a meeting room. The other students might have considered it a wonderful place to meet, but to him it was set up and overly spacious. It was a lifeless place that reminded him of an arid cave. Stuck in this cold room with absolutely nothing to do, his mind turned to what they wanted to discuss. Unable to come up with a solid answer, he turned his attention to the sound of the rain. It really feels like I'm watching a movie. Not just reading a visual novel, like. And I got this feeling that I'm gonna repeat it again and again throughout the entire game. Like I'm really impressed with the visuals so far. Like, really impressed. The rain hardly resembled the rain in the mountains. Though he could still recognize it barely. Its smell and sound were harsher, but in the end of the day, rain was still rain. So even in this world, aliens it was have something in common with the mountains. My bad. So even in this world, aliens it was could have something in common with the mountains. Did my guy lived in the mountains, or in some secluded place? Not much people around. The table detail perked him up a little. That's how the town looked soaked in rain. Naturally, he preferred sunny weather, but he liked rain in its own way. The fog from the rain soaked up the scent of the soil, and it reminded him of home. It was at times like this that he was able to numb the anxiety the city gave him. Alright, so my guy is from from some small town, or maybe even from the village, perhaps. Maybe even in the mountains. But then he let out his courage sigh. How pathetic. He had already been here 2 weeks, and lots of his hometown still made him sad. Perhaps feeling that he was being afraid of his new life, he composed himself and continued to wait patiently. As if having a passion for distractions, his attention returned to the sound of the rain once more. Waiting like this didn't seem to be particularly hard for him. He really enjoyed the numbing cold and now alone with calm deep breaths. As the saying goes, who things come to do so wait. At one point of his sonata, he was astonishingly patient. We're certainly helping him out in this moment. And here she goes. She, on the other hand, was livid. she's fuming. The profile of the dancer student had been explained to her on her way to the meeting room. She was told he had lived his whole life up in the mountains. Alright, so I get this right. And the guy, in fact, lived in the mountains. I see. Without any electricity. Yo, that's pretty hardcore. But I still could imagine something like that happening in the 80s. That meant more than half of civilized society would have been an utter mystery to him.
なんて絶望的
What
な
a
断
miserable
絶。
level of isolation.
戦後どころか戦前の話じゃない。ロビンソンにも程がある。
How is this even possible in post-war Japan? It's like Robinson Crusoe. Had every right to be endgame. His village had apparently remained isolated in the mountains for many years. Looked at these villages in the foothills of the mountains only occurred once a month or so, which was unfathomable in modern Japan. Although expressways and Japan Rail, the old national railways, now spanned the country like it is, it wasn't entirely impossible for mountains villages like his to exist. She couldn't imagine how someone brought to such circumstances would think or live.
電気がないって。
When it's not
村に行き
electricity,
渡っていないだけ
even
で
in train
公衆
life,
電話ぐらいはあったんですよね。
like he must have had access to the public phone.
なかったそうだよ。
Apparently not.
こっちに暮らす
Imagine
よう
how
になっ
shocked
て
he was by
ま
the
ず驚い
phones
たの
when
が
he
電
started
話だ
living
そうだし
here. Did you just went straight from the medieval times to the modern life? Like,
電話って便利です
I
ね
kid you
な
not.
んて真顔で言われてね
Whoa.
そういえばそうだな
That
と
sounds so
再確認
useful.
させられたぐらいだよ
Couldn't really couldn't really deny that, could I? He shot a sidelong glare his way as he laughed. It seemed that the naivety of the country boy had cheered up Masha since a bit.
駐在もいないってことか。
They probably didn't have
うち
police
も実家は
officers
山奥ですか
either.
ら、電気が通っていないの
My
はありえ
family
ないと
home
は
is
言いません
up
け
in
ど。
the mountains, so it's not inconceivable they wouldn't have electricity.
そいつ、学校も知らないんですか？
But he doesn't even know what a school is.
うん
No.
どんなものかは知ってい
Scared
た
of
そうだ
them,
けど
but
実際
this
来
is
るのは
apparently
今
his
日が
first
初
time
めてだし
visiting one.
それで緊張していたのかなあまり会話も弾まなかっ
Maybe
た
That's why he's nervous. He wasn't very talkative. My guy just teleported to the freaking different dimension altogether. If he doesn't really knows what the school is, only heard about it, like that's pretty crazy.
うーん。
He's
ああ
almost
いうのも野
what
生
do you
児って
call
いう
it?
のかな。狼に育てられた狼少年みたいな。あ、いや、探検隊の話だね。
Like a boy raised by wolves. Suppose that makes it this a safari. What's up? What's up with all this talks about wolves and everything else? Like, I'm pretty sure that back then when we got to see the transition for chapter 1, they called her lone wolf as well. Like,
ちょ、
hey,
怖い
you scared me.
な、
I
尾
was
崎
like,
君。冗談だって。そう、睨まないでくれ。
okay, so she is Ozaki. Like, I was joking. Girl, is it okay?
大丈夫。
Anyway,
話してみた感じ。
I get the feeling
お
that
とな
I'm
しい
from
子だった
talking
か
to
ら。
him, that he's a nice kid.
なんていうか、
He was
言
almost
葉
like
の通じない
I don't
小
know.
動物みたいな
a
感
good
じ。
little animal that doesn't speak a human.
山城先生、その例え
Your
気休
jokes
めになっ
that
てませんから。
in the first aren't helping. They're making it worse. She gave him a blunt reply. She tried to simulate in her mind what life without electricity would be like. But the thought of it took her sour mood from a bad to worse. To me, it's when I'm getting the power cut off. You don't need to be in the mountains to get the sad reality of it when you go for the power outrage. Like, after all, it was a world she had known. She had never known. Really? Like, but I guess with her living in a mansion, even if it's on top of the mountain, it still makes sense that she has the electricity in her mansion. She could understand why the teachers had given up. She too wanted to give up and change her warm bath, but her good-for-nothing pride was holding her hostage. That's my girl is aware that it's a good-for-nothing pride. But we are still going with the thing nonetheless. Not only did the teachers believe she was up to the task, but she also believed she could do it. It wasn't that easy to go back on her word no matter. On her, it wasn't that easy to go back on her word, no matter how bad things looked after the fact. She walked alone the hallway, the rain pattering in the background. The meeting room was oddly inside. With a far at her brow, she fixed her long hair in anticipation of meeting the unknown stranger within. Well, let's see how it goes. Elegant strides were like those of a confident general going to battle. Is she gonna beat the guy to a bloody pulp? Or is he gonna he's gonna go feral on her?
いや、青崎くん、
Osaki?
君を信頼してる僕だけど、 念のため確認してお
Very
くよ。
funny and all, but
なんていうか
I will say it again.
優しくね。できれば笑顔とか作
Be
らない
nice,
かな。
okay? Can you at least try to smile?
作り笑いは
How
苦
about
手
the
です。
fucking smiles?
一応努力しているつもりですが。
But I will do my best.
ああ、そうなんだ。
Really?
それはよかった。
That's a relief.
いやー、ほんとよかった。
I didn't mean it.
青崎くんにも
It's good to
苦
know
手
you're
なものっ
not
てあっ
good
たんだね。
at everything. Marshall Sensei shoulders slumped the second day they meet at home. He's just anticipating the disaster that is about to happen. As he put out his hand to the door, his eyes seemed to say to him, "Be nice, please." This only made him more irritated. Oh, no.
分かってるわよ。
As you know, I'm not
愛想が悪い
the
って。
friendliest looking person in the world.
でも笑顔なんて意
But
識
I
して作るもの
can't
じゃ
just
ない
make
んだし。
myself smile at the drop of a hat.
大体そういうインスタントな人付き合いなら飛び丸の方が向いてる
Be
って。
matter if that's what you were after. Twist to be matter, like. Is it some pick from the Syrian Council, like? Or is it your housemate? She said about her social shortcomings, but then it occurred to her that being called into a school on a day off while sleep deprived wasn't anything to smile about anyway. She also thought the person responsible for this mess would be better off attending elementary school. It might not be his fault. You're already sending the guy to kindergarten. It's beyond help. And beyond help. Damn, she is a savage. She's really savage. But then there was it's her duty or obligation to do the teacher's work for them. At the very least, they could have used their brains and organized all this on a normal school day. Another complaint she wanted to voice later.
いや、というか
I hate
敵。
him already.
なんであろうと敵。
Told ya.
悪いけど、
He's my
上場
sworn
酌量以
enemy.
前に敵。
I haven't even met him. And when she's gonna meet him, I'm afraid that she's gonna rip my guy to the shreds. Sorry, but I couldn't care less about his insinuating circumstances.
間が悪いのはお
You think
互い
this
様って
is
いうの
awkward
か。
for me to?
ほんと、なんでよりにもよってこんな忙しい時に。
Honestly, why did this have to happen when I'm so busy? Her purging headache from a lack of sleep, it boosted her aggression by 10%. No matter how harmless the guy on the other side of the door may be, anyone who disturbed her sleep was the enemy. And just as she was reaching peak annoyance, Rasha Sensei opened the door to the meeting room. Nice timing there. The room slowly slid into view. It's like he knew what he was doing there, like he knew it. She didn't care for formalities. But joke aside, the teacher is probably just praying that it's gonna end up in a brawl between those two. This looks Saita Hattens stormed into the room and found herself face to face with most unusual opponent. The one who doesn't care. Before we go on, let's see from another perspective. Turning back to the clock just a little. You don't have to do anything. For some, the sports a priceless luxury. For others, they're unbearable torture. And I bet for this guy it's a truth. And he really took it out of the heart of them. To the attractive girl, it was definitely the former, though. Should be too suspicious of the motives of anyone giving her such a gift to accept that. And she would be right about this, like 100% right, because she was literally stripped out of her luxury, which was dressed and brought here with the call. To the passive boy, it was definitely the latter. A bit of warning that made him homesick. Though at this very moment, his mind was still distracted with the wait for his face to reveal any discontent. He maintained perfect posture as he stared at the grey sky. He had already waited a whole hour. It figured they must have had the reasons for making him wait. It's psychological warfare. And as long as he had the sound of rain to soothe him, he could keep on waiting.
でもそろそろ9時を過ぎるのか。
It must be 9 o'clock already.
どうなんだろ
Yeah, that seems about right. He had been vaguely keeping track of the time as he listened to the rain. Due to the holiday, could be one of the best rain sound effects I have ever heard in any visual novel. Like, maybe I'm tripping, but this one makes me feel like it's actually raining. Well, I'm probably just tripping now. Due to the holiday, the school building was completely silent, except for the patter of the rain on the window. The mood felt as damp as the... It was then... You heard the heavy clatter of footsteps approaching.
う。よかった。忘れられているかと思っ
I
た。
thought they had forgotten about me. You could hear the two sets of footsteps, one heavier set belonging to an adult. You breathed a sigh of relief as the door slid open.
すまないね。ずいぶんとお待たせしちゃって。
Sorry to keep you waiting. The first person he saw was a man wearing glasses and an awkward smile. That's Yamashita Sensei, the one who brought me here.
ってあれ里中先生いないんですか
Yes,
ひどいな。
Satonaka Sensei.
話し相手になってあげてと言った
I
の
told him
に。
to keep you company. You shouldn't have left you here. Yamashita scratched his head, looking easily apologetic. And then from behind him, with a tight-lipped expression that made it clear she didn't want to be there, the haired girl, with a determined look in her eyes, appeared. Surgery gulped. The sound of the rain on the window faded into nothingness. That's when he knew this was how it felt when the time stood still. Are you can just stop the time with your She blinked quickly a few times as if taking a back. I wasn't even guess. The boy was everything she expected. An if country boy to look like. I wish she felt something she couldn't understand. His eyes widened slightly as if taken aback. The reason was obvious. Putting his feeling into words is a different matter altogether. So we will never know exactly what he experienced in that moment. That's when it hit him. He sensed had been touched by the hands of a destiny. Their seal of fate.
彼が転入生の静木宗十郎君。
Allow me to introduce the two of you. This is the transfer student I mentioned. So she was, can I listen to this again?
紹介するよ。彼が転入生の静木宗十郎君。
Right, it's definitely Shizuki Soju. Not sure why they spelling it like this in the translation. So I'm gonna call him Shizuki, not Shizuki. Shizuki sounds bit to me.
で、こっちの彼女が静木くんの案内役。
And this is the girl that will be showing you around.
うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ。
Just to welcome you. Your name is Aozaki. His voice and the sound of the rain seem distant. That's how they first met. Such was their start, for better or worse, like the ephemeral beauty of fireworks. It was commonly believed among the students commonly believed what? That Alka was always in the format. That was some weird stuff there. But this gossip was 90% prejudice. As Alka simply didn't have time to be irritated 24/7. Okay, so my girl is better than this. The answer was she simply didn't want to explain herself all the time. And therefore seemed angry about something, obvious or not. The idle gossip I did, or later to her earning the title for one of the school's 7 deadly threats. Not even a mystery. Set up threats. The remaining 10% of the gossip was right on the mark. Alka herself often had the feeling that her tendency to feel animosity toward harmless fiends was akin to what a chronic headache sufferer might experience. They fell under that 10%. Today her anger was pure, and her childish and selfish display was befitting of your actual age. Okay, I'm taking my words back. The meeting room was dimly lit. It wasn't the colors of the rains. To reduce electricity costs, school regulations forbid the use of lights during the day. At least I'm gonna take them back when I see you freak out in the public. But I'm kind of doubt that it's gonna happen, because it's That's okay, we are talking about him. This was the setting the three of them found something. His first impression was that his calm demeanor reminded him of a field of wildflowers. In spite of his perfect posture, his overall air felt placid, tame even. And though describing him as a meek would be going too far, at the very least he was passive. Even from his uniform, she could see that he was thinner than average. His hair was unkempt, and he came across as a wholly forgettable boy. She had to look at him in a more positive light. She would describe him more a young man than a boy. It was his calm demeanor that made him seem more mature. Is that the cause of Aoka's endless reaction? He seemed almost too at home in the meeting room, and he was left with the impression that it was him the teacher, not this outsider who were the guests here. Damn, that's some real glare there. She felt an undefinable aggravation building within her. Most of her right to behave was in question. It's like she's if she could burn a hole at him with the stair, then it would be this one. She has on her face right now. Aoka felt herself rising her natural defenses.
信じられない。
What's with me?
私、今わけもなく怒ってない。
Am I really this angry for no reason? She had that not understanding things, but emotions in particular. It pained her less than you would imagine for a perfectionist like her, but still knocked her like a thorn in her side.
いやーほら青崎くん挨拶してあげなくち
Why don't
ゃ
you introduce yourself? Imagine Sensei attempted to relieve the tension was equally irritating and it only backfired.
挨拶
Introduce myself, huh? After casting a nasty glance in the teacher's direction, Aoka turned out to face the boy. From an outsider perspective, might have looked like a sad down. It's a duel between the cowboys in the Wild West, and in that instant, the combination of her emotional state heartfelt toward the innocent boy and skewered him.
いや待たせたね
Again,
しずきくん
sorry for the wait, Shizuki. In his name, Sojourner came to his senses. His stunned gaze shook loose. He took a deep breath to clear his head. Checking it up to nerves, Yamashita Sensei broke out a spell and turned to the girl standing beside him.
紹介するよ彼が転入生の
I'll
し
do
ず
the
き宗十郎くん
introductions then. This is the transfer student, Sojourner Shizuki.
でこっちの彼女がしずきくんの案内役うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ
This is our student council president. He came in of her day off just to show you around. His name is Aoka Aozaki. Who had been introduced by Yamashita Sensei, the girl took a step forward. Guys were merciless. His say an unspoken threat badly trample her opponent. Soldier, on the other hand, managed to keep his own composure despite the shock of a confrontation last period. He had never been greeted quite like this before, but supposed mistakenly that this was how people treated each other in this city. And the dude here is just thinking that it's the common greeting now. Or that's how they go about the business in crowded places. The change must have looked quite a dramatic turn on look here. It's really a standoff. A full-blown one. You're ready to brawl, who's gonna pull out the trigger? Let's see. An earnest country boy is desperate to understand, and it was a murderous limbo, especially for anyone in the room with them. Like Yamashiro sensei, for example. I had thought he had made a dry decision in choosing an our student to help him out. She was in an inexplicably bad mood, and the tension in the air was undeniable. It was this moment that he realized his failure. His realization had come far too late. One false move, and this girl for whom no problem was too large, would become a storm that would rock the very foundations of the school. Just as the almighty Joker card could bring either fortune or disaster, the soul teacher who had been present at the time would come to bear the blame for the scandal that ensured him. Oh,
いけてる。
really
二
seemed
人
to
とも
have
気は合うようだね。
hit it off. You're gonna die, like.
それじゃあ僕はこの
I
辺でい
suppose
い
I
か
can
な。
leave you to that then. I wonder if the teacher is gonna make it alive to the next scene. Like, this is how things are going so far. Mahoyo sensei laughed nervously as he crept toward the door.
僕は職員室にいるから終わったら来るように。
I will be in the faculty room. Stop by when you're finished.
いいかい青崎くん。
You'll be alright.
くれぐれも
Until
くれぐれ
Misaki.
もだぜ。なんていうか
You're the
生
student
徒会
council
長としての
president.
度量の広さ
Let
を
me
こ
down.
の際僕に信じさせてほしいかな。
Imagine Sensei left, leaving the door in a locked eye state. He didn't even do anything to break it, to break them out of it. Like, what the heck? One in which, instead of eyes, I was doing all the glaying. All that remained in the room was an Atlas boy. And the cross-armed guarded girl. The two lingered in a silence. Resembled shogi players agonized over the first moves. Though it was only Arca, was no, but it's I forget it's Arca. Was reading so much into the situation. Wait. Maybe it's not the introduction here.
でこっちの彼女がしずきくんの案内役。うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ。
Okay, so it's our color. Okay, gotcha. She decided to put her irritation aside from the time being. There's no reason to feel revulsion for him in the first place. She sighed deeply and faced surgery.
まあいいわ。山城先生がヒルアンドンなのは今に始まったことじゃないし。
So like this is the first time that Masha Sensei landed me in it.
それで、あなた名前は？
So what's your name again? You don't was nothing. If not, approachful. I'm trying to get your name right. Don't glare at me like this. Though he had done nothing to offend her. But the boy failed to pick up on it. Incapable of such a venom himself.
ああ、静木宗十郎かな。君は青崎さんだったね。
Oh, I like his smile. I'm so sure Shazaki replied. It really feels, fits his vibe there. And you are Miss Sawazaki, right? For whatever reason, he came across as happy in his response.
さんはいいわ。柄じゃないから。
That the sun, that's not my style.
こっちは静木くんでいい？
Is Shizaki fine?
いいって何が？
What do you mean?
だから呼び方。くんづけでいいかって聞いてるの。
What do you mean? What do I mean?
何よ？おかしなこと言った？
Therapist,
私。
Hello, did I say something weird?
いや、すごく。
Yeah, but the boy replied immediately as it was the natural response, beginning to second guess himself.
いや、いいんだ。
Ah, never
ごく
mind.
一般的なん
It
だ。
must be normal here.
静木くんで頼む。君は青崎でいいんだよな。
You can call me Shizaki. You mind if I call you Saki?
よろしく。
Suit yourself. She followed her blunt reply with a swift turn away from him. While she was hardly thrilled at the prospect of the task at hand had been entrusted to her, and it was her personal policy to see it through to the end.
悪いけど、優しくしてあげる気はないから。
Sorry, but I'm not in the mood for pleasantries.
時間も惜しいし、
I'm
手早
short,
く行くわ
so let's get this over with.
それは助かる。や
Sure,
っぱり時間は
I
大
know your
切だ。
time is valuable. Alka Blanta and Cora was lost on him once again. He's immune. Just bouncing off him. Never hitting the target. Sure, but only makes you even more pissed. He wants them to be overly conscious about being ignored, whatever form that takes. Besides being peeved at landing none of her attacks, Aka did her best to act professional and directed, gets into the hallway. At least, okay, at least she is trying to that. There was no sunlight in the hallway, nor any sign of life. This was more like a prison than the cave that was the meeting room. And she is our guide. It dawned on Aka that the hallway matched him out. Tried once again.
まず聞いておくけど、山城先生から聞いたことは理解し
First
てる。
things first, do you understand everything Martian Sensei explained to you?
ああ、学校の仕組みについては分かった。
Yes, I get how the school works,
この建物全部に同い年の人間がいるな
but
んて
it's。still a bit hard to
ちょっと
imagine
想像で
that
きないけど。
everyone here is around the same age.
そう、よかったわね。
I see, great. I clapped her for it. The soldier Hakita had no idea what he was in for. Apparently, What I heard about the school was that it was a place where a lot of people met to study. High school teachers imparted to students their knowledge in various fields of study, while fostering discipline and creativity. Nobody talk. Imagine that she would have to explain the concept of school itself to someone. Where is gonna get by? I mean, this the academic subjects. Probably gonna be really tough for him. I can tell. Yes, fundamentals very important, but or maybe he is secret academical prodigy, but I kinda doubt it. But it was this was absurd. She had serious doubts Vidya could even handle classes, but Yamashita Sensei insisted that things would work out somehow. The key word here is somehow. Soji had managed to pass the transfer exam after all, barely. But he still passed it. That's the most important part of it.
ま、私には関係ないけど。
Not my problem. Oka grumbled mentally as she walked down the hallway. She consoled herself with the fact that today would be the only day she would spend with this boy out of time. At least she tried to keep it that way.
青崎、
Ozaki? He asked calmly, trying to get her attention.
何？
What?
こっちも一つ聞いていいかな。
Can I ask you something?
だから何？
Yes, what is it?
俺の気のせいだと思うんだが、君はまるで
I could be wrong about
何
this,
かを
but
睨んでいる
you
よう
seem
に見える。
upset about something.
やはり、今朝は悪いものでも。
You're not a morning person, are you? Whoa. He's hitting the ball on its head. But I think he picked wrong timing to be perceptive about the things. His gaze revealed earnest concern as if asking you if she remembered to eat breakfast. He really had her, like. It was like another hammer to her head. Yo, she's barely holding it together. It was true that Ayuka had been glaring at Soshiro the entire time, and now she's gonna glare for him for real. Glaring at Hota daggers, in fact. Not just at him, but the universe. The universe is unfair. And even on her best days, her roommate used to remark,
青子の視線は普通の人には厳しいわ。
so her roommate is a girl. At least that's what I'm getting from this. Most people can't handle your skull, and they probably have known each other for a while.
もう少し
Even hard you to
多
be
く
a
のことに
little
寛
more
大に
tolerant.
なるべきね。
But I wonder if her roommate is has any ties to magic. It would be funny if her roommate is human or something along these lines, instead of being a apprentice like I assumed at the beginning of the stream. She had been warned that her emotions were so naked on her face that people treated her like a powder keg. How naive could be the boy that he could not pick up on this?
私をバカにしてる
He's not
って
really
わけじゃなさ
fond
そうよ
of me, is he?
この場
No, he couldn't be. Hmm. Even she found her own attempt to assure herself unconvincing. Began to dawn on Aka far too late. But compared to her, this late black dancer student might as well have been from another planet.
いいわ言葉にしないとわからないようだから言う
Look,
けど
let me spell it
まる
out
で
for you.
じゃなくて
Because you're just
ズバリ
not
そうなの
getting it.
あなたの気のせいじゃなくて
It's not your imagination.
私は視線で遠回しに
And
感
maybe
情を表
even
現して
could
た
say that in my
いちいち声に出
eyes.
すのも会話にす
It's
るのも
either
面
than
倒だから
trying to make a conversation. In response to her voice, the magician clapped his hands together.
なるほど。どうしてそうしたいのかはわからない
I don't know
が、
why you would want to
確か
do
に
it that way,
そっちの方が手っ
but
取り早い
I
意
get
思
that
表
it's
現だ。
faster way to express yourself. So she accepted her reasoning without argument. Though he still had no idea what kind of emotions she was trying to express. It was as if he could hear the voice, but I didn't grasp the meaning. Ideas that I should have connected were instead separated into blocks.
確かにずれてるわ
So it's
こいつ
it's really it's peculiar. He's her kryptonite. Imagine sensei words made sense to her now. What was odd about this boy went way beyond naivety. Honestly, I'm pretty interested to see how the story is gonna affect each other going forward with the story. Essentially, in a strange land he may be, but it was only civilized to forgive him some jet lag-induced confusion.
じゃとりあえずあなたの教室に行くから
Let's visit your classroom. She had regained her composure. So she raised his hand and stopped in his tracks.
あと一つ。
Just one more thing. Oko waited for Soju to continue. The boy was passionate to a fault. She rubbed her forehead with her hand again, using a vague feeling of uneasiness.
これもちょっとした疑問なんだが、なんで君
I
は怒
wanted
って
to
る
ask
んだ
why are you so angry?
怒るのが商売とか、
Is it your
そう
line
いう
for
家柄の
business?
人なのか
Does it run in your family? Now he's really gonna piss you off. But props to the guy for not milling with his words. Yeah, definitely like the dynamic between these two so far. It's pretty entertaining to watch. Well, in silence. Though she knew it wouldn't change the situation. It's like they are the water in the fire, or like the ice in the fire. She remembered that her you had an answer in the phone that morning. He meant no harm. She repeated this word like a mantra in an attempt to keep her impulses in a check.
別にあなたのせいじゃないから気にする必要は
That's
ない
what you're worried about.
ただ
I'm just
こ
trying
の
not to
一
think
瞬と
how much
お昼まで
better my
眠
day
って
would
いた
have
場合
gone
を
if
測りに
I'd
かけた
slept in
ら
until
あまりに利
now.
益の違いがあって頭を抱えただけよ。
With that vague answer, she started to walk again. She turned her gaze away from the Sarota, then she named Sasha Shizuki. While what constitutes normal is certainly up for debate, most what undoubtedly referred to him as he was simple and a nice boy with not discreet features. If he were a nice cream flavor, it would be vanilla. And Sasha found I got to be very businesslike and full of life. There was a certain purpose to her moments, as they began and ended in orderly fashion. The way her finger eyes when she pointed at things, the way she made her way across the hallways in the classrooms, the way she would occasionally glance back at him to make sure he was keeping pace. Each and every moment was so impressive that he couldn't take his eyes off her. I showed him to his homeroom class C of the 11th grade. The room certainly displayed more of a human touch than the previous meeting room, but surgery was none of the vitals to its function. Naka gave a brief explanation before they visited individual subject classrooms, as well as the gym, cafeteria, locker room, and the school infirmary. But it's that's a huge info dump for the guy who got in the school like an entirely new world. So that's where the controls were. So she asked so many questions that much time passed before they reached the Davy room on the second floor. What is Davy room?
まずいな。
Oh dear. So she stopped looking genuinely concerned. Is he overwhelmed with the school? How complex it is? It is for him, but he just wants to hit the bathroom. Or perhaps neither of those.
あと20分経つと1時だ。
It's 20 to 1 already. Huh?
嘘でしょ。うちの校舎そんな広くないわよ。
Huh? You're kidding, right? The school isn't that big. It'll be done soon. The tour had begun around 10, which meant that 3 hours had passed. That's a huge ass tour. Just how big this school is, I thought, could span 3 hours. The tour of a school shouldn't take anywhere near this long. Maybe
そうだったわね。
Maybe if we
行
didn't
く先
ask
々で
so
根
many
掘り葉
questions,
掘り聞かれ
it'd
ち
be
ゃ
done by
そりゃ
now.
何時間
Let's
でも
make
経
us
つ
still
わ。
light out.
日が暮れていないのが不思議なくらいね。
I could glare at Soja. She was being sarcastic, of course, and full well he would never pick up on it. He's here. With her surprise, he looked down apologetically, unable to hide his dejection.
なんだこいつ。
Oops. I think I
ちゃん
broke
と
him.
してるっちゃ。
I broke him. The guy before him now was nothing like earlier. In contrast, seeing his once impenetrable veneer when they first met, she found herself feeling sympathetic. Momentarily, at least, until her irritation returned in full force.
で、何がまずいの？
What's the high?
覚えるこ
Don't
と
know
が
your
多
brain
すぎ
is
て
not
パ
big
ンク
enough
し
to
た。
remember all the
なんて言わないで
stuff.
ね。
That's a lot of stuff to remember, to be honest. Especially if you're hearing about all this things for the first time.
いや、それもあるけど、学校のことは
Well,
別に
there's
して、
that, but
1時になるとまずいんだ。
it's more about it almost in 1 o'clock. So she guess whether let's have a wait about something. If he was worried about the weather, have a hard time seeing it as there were no windows in this hallway.
へえ。時間を気にするってことは用事
There
がある
was
のね。
somewhere better to be.
そう。
That's perfect.
人の予定を引っかき回し
I
てお
take
い
time out of my
て、
day
自
for
分
you
だけ好きなよう
and
に
you don't
やろ
have
うって
the
いうんだ。
decency to win hang around. The sheer gall of the guy.
なんだ、顔に似合わずいい人ね、君。
Yeah, you're a piece of a work, you know that.
いや、褒めても
say,
何も
say
出ない
yes.
ぞ。
That's nice of you to say.
誰も褒めちゃいないわよ。
Not a compliment. She yelled at him, unable to hold back her fury.
で、
Well,
で、
well, what?
それで、一
What's
体
happening
何
in
の用
20
なの？
minutes? So her face lit up as he finally understood what she was asking him.
そこは秘密にしておきたい。
It's a secret. What his secret could possibly be? What I'm wondering about is, does Soshiro have anyone he is on good terms? At least anyone who is with whom he is familiar with in this city. Like, where is he even staying? That's what I'm curious about. He said with a perfectly straight face.
慣れ始めたつもりだったけど、こいつのこういったテンポには失
Every
神
time
し
I
そう
think I
にな
have
るわ
got this guy figured out, he finds a way to trip me up. Your frustration was natural. Still, she did everything she could stifle her feelings and fake a smile.
しずきくん、
That's some decent smile, even if it's a forced one. You want to repeat that, Shizuki? I need to read it different. You want to repeat that, Shizuki? She took a step forward.
秘密だってば。
Like I said, it's a secret. It didn't change drastically, so she took a step back. And another, and another. No matter how many steps he took back, she kept edging towards him. She was smiling, but he thought he could see the blood boiling beneath her skin.
これ最後の質問にしとくわね。
Last question.
あなた、私をからかって楽しい？
Didn't you mock at me? He had no intention of mocking him, though at this point he doubted presenting any evidence to prove this would do much to erase that for a smile on her face.
わかった。説明する。
Let me explain. Sam's eyes didn't surrender. She halted her at once and freed her face from that unseemly smile. Now I wouldn't be able to unsee her just how creepy the smile is. This on her.
実は1時からアルバイトがあるんだ。でもここはそういうの禁止なんだろ？
Yo, guy even has some part-time job on him. Like. That's pretty cool, especially when we think when we remember that that he lived in the mountains before and just got just recently got here in the city, and he's already has a part-time job like. But students aren't allowed to have a job site.
そうだけど
Yeah, wait.
禁止されてるから秘密にしようと思った
We've
の
been tight-lipped because you what? But
それなら許可さえ下りていれば問題ないわよ
what you have to do is get a permission to be.
知ってる。試験の
I
時
know,
に
I
許可
did
をもらっ
that.
て
Good
る。
permission when they accepted me to the school.
へえ
Really? I guess the face lit up as she realized it might not be the piece of her work she thought him to be. Yet,
しかし、許可は一つしかもらえなかった。
what only got permission for one of my jobs. I mean, you could treat them as like it's the same job, or at least pretend like it is. And it's not like you're hurting anyone with this.
一つって
Wait,
あなた
we have
掛
more
け
than
持
one
ちでバイトしてる
job.
の
これでも2件減らしたんだ。
Never mind. I get to two of them. On the first day, right?
生活費だけで大
My
変なのに
expenses are bad enough, but
学費まで稼がなくちゃいけない。
now I have to earn
なの
money
に
for
働き
school as
先は
well.
一つだけというのはあんまりだと思わないか。
So that was his reason for this. Huh? Don't you think it's unreasonable of them to only let me work on one job?
いやあんまりなのはあなたの方だと
No,
思う
I
けど
think you are the one who has been unreasonable. Though still irritated, her opinion of him changed a little. She was impressed that he was able to take care of his tuition and living expenses all on his own. She could also emphasize his giving no time to oneself. Her anger began to subside. The worst part-time job were about the last things she ever expected to hear out of this country boy's mouth.
そういうことなら仕方ないわね
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
いいわ行きなさいよ
It's fine.
事情は分か
We're
った
gonna
から
go. I get it.
青崎はいいのか？
Will you be okay? She had no idea what his question meant, but she at least understood he was trying to be considerate. Which also took her by surprise. She figured it would be just as tense about people's feelings as he was about everything else.
別に私もこのまま帰るから
I'll be fine. I'll just head home. First, though, she thought it best that they both stopped by the faculty room. Masha Sensei had mentioned that the transfer procedures had already been completed, so all that remained was for him to sign off on her duties.
先生案内終わりました
I finished showing him around.
それはお疲れ様。
Great job.
しずきくんもお疲
Good
れ
for
様。
you too, Shizuki.
それで校舎を回った感想はどうかな？
What did you think of our school?
ありがとうございます。な
Thank
ん
you
と
for
い
the
うか、
tour. It's like
と
a
て
real
も学校です
school.
ね。
It's like a real school. I mean, it is the real thing, like.
そうかそうか。うん、明日から頑張りなさい。
That's a great to hear. Okay, then, best of luck starting tomorrow. She had no interest whatsoever in this pointless papa meeting.
山城先生のことは気にしないでいいわ
You'll have to forgive Masha Sensei.
教え子に厄介なことを押し付けてふんぞり返っているぐらい職員室が好きなんだから
Back there,
何時間にも
while
待ってるでしょ
getting his students to do his dirty work for him, I bet he spends hours in there.
いえ 待ってるべきじゃない？
Actually, that's pretty smart of him. I mean, if you put us like of your duties, like, why not slack off?
そうか。青崎がいいんならいいんだな。
Okay, Misaki. If you're fine with it, then so I am. Not only that, but he has some picking up the slack for him. The guy is the secret mastermind of the school. The final boss.
Hmm?
Huh? It was again. Just some really lazy teacher. Whatever soldier was getting at, I had no idea.
それじゃ行くよ。今日はありがとう。
I'm going to get going. Thanks again for today.
今日だけよ、今日だ
Yes,
け。
today only. Shoot him away with her hand. His face bent into a broad smile, so he found the gesture endearing. It was a softer expression that she had grown accustomed to seeing out of him. It was the kind of a smile that would make anyone smile back. Well, most people at least. Okazaki didn't betray the slightest hint of a smile.
それじゃあまた。
See you later.
Huh?
Huh? And she's like, I just told you that it's today only. What do you mean later? And with that, finally farewell. So she walked toward the end of the hallway. Also, she thought before he turned into the next class over. Did he just, Did you had to say it, And here he goes, The guy is just wild. He's gonna perform the assassin jump. Like, the jump of the cliff. Like, Treasure had a sight for one of the classroom windows. Whereupon he opened it with his the chill November air filled the room as if the soft sounds of the rain doubled in volume. In that instant, she realized his intention with opening the window. She really wished that she hadn't.
いや、待て待て待て
No! Stop. I only had one leg. Out of the window when she dashed to stop him.
何するつもりよ、あんたは
What do you think you're doing?
何ってアルバイトに行
What
くん
I'm
だけ
doing?
ど。
I'm leaving for my job, that's what. Yeah, that's just how your average guy leaves the school for his job, like. Totally like this.
その窓は人が出入りするところじゃないの。
We don't know what this window isn't an exit, don't you? And he's gonna be like, is that so?
だいたいここ何階だと思ってるの？
I mean, do you even know what floor you're on? That's a good question. You saw the light up on the staging door in his eyes.
死ぬところだった。
Oh my
2階
god.
から降りたら
I
危
almost
なすぎる
died. Would put an exit here. This is dangerous.
危ないのはあんたの頭。
It's the lack of something between your ears that's dangerous. Itself went right over his head.
あのね、こっちじゃ窓から人は出入りしないの。
You
さっ
will
き
hear
言っとく
them
べきだったわ。
would normally enter and exit for windows, okay? You should probably remember this information for future references.
知ってるよ。時間がないんで慌ててたんだ。
Oh, I know. Just wanted to save save some time.
ありがとう。こ
But
れからは
thanks.
気をつける
I'll。be more careful from now on. He pulled his leg back inside and closed the window. His school uniform was soaking wet from the rain.
いいけど、私は別に。
Be my guest.
あなたがどこから
Go
外に
outside
出ようが
anyway
関
you
係ない
like.
もの。
Doesn't do it in front of
ただ、
me from now on.
できれば私の前ではやらないでほしいだけよ。それより、
Anyway,
あなた、
start school tomorrow,
本
right?
当に明日から学校に来るの？
来るよ。
Yeah.
不
I'm
安
a
だ
little
けど
nervous though.
案内してもらったし
That's why I came in early for the tour. He beat your farewell before on the way down the hallway. So I hoped he would pull down the stairs and leave through the school entrance like a normal person.
大
Okay.
丈夫なのか？
I wonder if he's really
あん
going
なん
to
で
be okay here. The image of him disappearing into the distance popped in her heart, in spite of her ear. She had no intention of spending any more time with him. Oh, the dude is gonna start rubbing off on her. And it's it's bound to turn into some insane type of shit. Yet she left. Yet she felt strangely anxious. She couldn't tell if the feeling was fueled by concern or irritation. Why had she even gotten angry with this an insignificant dance student in the first place? Because he is Soju Shizuki. And that's self-explanatory. The dude is just wild and confusing. Not only to her, but to me as well. Strange Davis, strange student, strange transfer student resulting in strange emotions. And a strange chapter to it. But in a good way. You had a Delta as she reflected on what to have been a more enjoyable day than the irritating experience she just had.
いっか。
Whatever.
どうせこれっきりなんだし。
It's not as if I will see him again. Yeah, sure. The sound of the rain echoed quietly all around here. The grey sky seemed to have frozen in the time. It was impossible to discern whether it was morning or evening. Yamashita and Aka were likely the only ones left in the school. The unlit classroom looked over like gloomy and ominous as Aka stood in it alone. She pulled up her left sleeve. Her dainty, remarkable watch showed that it was almost 1 o'clock.
時間合ってる。
She was right about the time. She looked out of the windows at the grounds below. She saw a boy in uniform running through the rain without an umbrella. He said she must have seen before, but whatever reason affected her far more than she wished. Is she gonna chase after him? Anka did not stop by the faculty room before heading home. While Yamashita-sensei offered to drive her home was tempting, she decided it would ultimately be far more satisfying to ruin his day, just as he had hers. She walked as quietly as she could through the entrance and opened her bright red umbrella. As she had predicted that morning, it was raining in the afternoon. At this rate, probably cease completely in an hour or so. The east sunshine would likely have reached her by the time she arrived home.
ま、それも悪くないか。
Well, I suppose it could be worse. She shrugged her shoulders in resignation. She neither nor disliked the rain, but she found herself enjoying a walk home with her red umbrella in her hand. The The teachers at Misaki High School weren't fond of bright colors. So the umbrella was an unusual sight. There was a story about how the umbrella was must be white had been making the rounds, but it featured Aka instead of a gas. It's a surgery plot. Deals with that umbrella that she made her way toward Misaki Station. Like we all know that the guy didn't make it alive out of the building. That's why the umbrella is sad. Misaki Private High School took its namesake from the town it was in. It was once a sprawl for farmland and woodland, but rapid growth over the last 10 years had led to unprecedented modernization. There were some who thought to preserve Misaki's natural treasures.
残すことには賛成ですが、それでは残すだけになってしまうでしょう。
Agree in principle to preserving the land, but not at the expense of our prosperity. With these words, the mayor snuffed out the voices of the minority and assured a long-term plan for urban development. More than enough funds for the urban development were collected. And thus how the rapid growth began. The ensuing town of Misaki became the largest municipality of Misaki City in merely 10 years. So, even though it lacked the modernity of neighboring Shirogi, or the elegance of Misaki Hills.
それも当然よね。どういじくっても
What did people
もともとは
expect
山中の宿場
to
町
keep
だ
the
し
town hidden atop the
山ご
mountain
と切り
forever?
崩すって言うんなら別だけど
So like they were gonna flatten the mountain or something. Maybe they will. But we will find out it later. If it's gonna be the case. Urbanization had been contained to the lowlands around the station. The most of the hills and mountains are still standing as they did 10 years prior. The exhaustion of funds succeeded in protecting the old Misaki where the citizens could not. It became a truly hot suburban town, welcoming an increasingly urban population with its vestiges of old country charm. Misaki High School was a private school established long before the town's current state. The original campus, built 50 years ago, was located high up in the mountains, making its current location its second incarnation. The path to the old grounds was not only steep and remote, it had become an overgrown chemtrail with the passage of time. For this reason, among others, Misaki High School had been shuttered until almost 20 years ago, when it received a donation from a department chain that allowed for the construction of a new campus in the city. And thus Misaki High School reopened its doors, the old woodland campus forgotten. In fact, most of the students attending Misaki High School were not from Misaki at all. The hearty rustic people of this country town preferred prefectural schools to private ones. Truth to be told, Aoka herself was one of them. She had wanted after junior harvest to move to Tokyo, where she hoped to spend her days doing her favorite bands on her way to entering a public university. But her hopes were dashed with her sister's departure. So here she was, walking alone in the town with only a red umbrella to keep her company on what should have been a day off.
思い返してみると
Looking back on it
私の
now,
人生ってなんか災難続きっぽい
it's like my whole life was just one disaster after another. Frustration evaporated into the cold December.
でもま、いっか。
Oh well.
退屈だけはしないわけだし。
At least it's not a boy, no? Is this worse? He moved about and a bit as she left the school in her wake. The busy part of town met her at the bottom of the gently sloping road. Misaki train station was brand new. A soaking operated in an abandoned factory had been renovated into a multi-purpose structure with huge department stores on its east and west sides. When the department stores first opened, Aka and her friends had been impressed with the modern feel, but in time the stores still became dated. She had no shopping to do today, so she passed them by. What she really wanted to do was visit a cafe, but she thought the rush and her roommate would never let her hear the end of it. She frittered away her money. Is it, what the heck is this? She looked back and blinked. Is it surgery? For just a moment, she could have sworn she had seen someone suspicious in an red dress out of the corner of her eye. That's definitely not surgery. Is someone following her? Here, must have been her imagination. The sense chill she was experiencing down her spine was a familiar one at this point. She continued her walk home, brushing off, leaving as if it had never happened. In a time, the chill faded and all that was left was the sounds of the town. She sighed heavily. Had she imagined it? Even if it had been in her heart, she was far from the comfortable with the feeling that still lingered.
夏場の蚊っても
In
う少
mosquitoes
し
have
怖
the
い
grace to buzz it off eventually. To buzz off eventually. She rumbled under her breath.
波乱万丈商
They're
売
good or
繁
bad.
盛商業
This to
繁
shall
盛
pass.
と
So the same goes.
そうそう
Yeah.
忙しさに愚痴
I've
を言っ
got
ても
enough
始まら
on
な
my
いわ
plate as it is. Unfortunately, summer and bugs go hand in hand. She could see how bugs would be drawn to all the sweet fruit. Oh, what is this place? Is it one of the part-time jobs that you're working at? Would be funny if it's exactly the same cafe. Oh, okay, had it. I mean, not had it, but like was wanted to go. And with the gas and the heat, the kitchen was closed for the time being. The lunch rush had come and gone. But I think it would be a nice place to stop for this time and continue the next time. So thanks everyone for watching this, and we'll continue with Mahoyo till next time. So stay tuned in to see how such a shift went and what we're gonna see in the story. And not only that, but for the Sakai's cinematic experience, which this game is. So thanks everyone for watching, and ciao.